Let's not deceive ourselves. What happened on the set of Pieces of Love is not just one small fight on the set. It is a case study in everything broken, unserious, and dangerous about how Nollywood currently runs its productions. On one side, you have actor Taye Arimoro, who says he simply wants to leave the set at around 11 p.m. after the production had allegedly overshot the agreed time. On the other side, we have producer Peggy Ovire, the production manager, and a crew who, by their own admissions and multiple reports, blocked a grown man from leaving a location like he was a prisoner and not a professional actor. Words were exchanged, tempers rose. The next thing we saw, people, a full WW pay-per-view blown-out fight. Blows were thrown, blood was shed, people ended up in hospital. We saw the CCTV footage. Now we saw Instagram reels on it, and there's nationwide outrage. This was Nollywood's big chance to say, from today, we have zero tolerance for violence and unlawful detention on any movie set. That was their one chance to say that. They say from today, no more tolerance for violence and unlawful detention on any movie set. Instead, the three most powerful guilds in the industry, the Actors Guild of Nigeria, the Directors Guild of Nigeria. Incidentally, I belong to that guild now. I just joined this year. And number three, Association of Movie Producers, AMP, which I also just joined a couple of months ago. These three guilds, AGN, DGN, and AMP, chose vibes and politics over principle. They issued a joint verdict that, in my view, and I'm going to explain in a minute, will go down as one of the most embarrassing and tone-deaf documents in recent Nollywood history. Yes, my name is Ope Banwo, and I'm the host of the Nollywood Fanatics TV. And if you have not yet been hearing of us, this is a new channel where we are dedicated to talking about Nollywood, reviews about Nollywood, training about Nollywood, especially monetization, review of movies, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and generally a channel that is devoted to the growth of the Nollywood industry. We are not here to just do vibes and do gossip and stuff. This is a very serious channel for serious stuff, even though we're going to have a lot of laughter in the process. If you have not yet subscribed to that channel, please do that for me right now. It is youtube.com/Nollywood Fanatics TV, or you can search Nollywood Fanatics TV, and please subscribe and enable notifications. If you are watching this live on YouTube right now, please subscribe. You have to subscribe before you can comment, and then also enable notification so that you can begin to receive stuff every time we go live. Please do that for me now. You want to follow the channel, you want to subscribe to it, and you are going to be having a lot of fun on this channel. So back to this amazing story tonight that we're going to be reviewing. So we had all this fight involving, I'm told, an up-and-coming actor who's doing very well, who has been in the industry for a while, and also a producer who allegedly has also produced a lot of movies. Somehow, and we're not taking sides here, other than I want to review the guild's verdict is what I want to talk about mostly tonight. But from what we hear from both of them, there was a fight erupted because Taye wanted to go home at 12 midnight. And they would not allow him to go home, and one thing led to the other, and blows started fighting. The next thing we know, a free WW fight on a set, a professional set that is supposed to be shooting a movie. And then the guilds who are supposed to be in control of these things, to put their actors in check, their directors in check, their producers in check, they did a three guild review. And I was stunned hearing just this morning before I go live that they did not even call Mr. Taye Arimoro, who was one of the principal people involved in the fracas. He was the actor that allegedly was the catalyst to all of this. He was the one that wanted to go home. He was the one that prevented from going home. He was the one that allegedly started the fight because Peggy, when she was giving her own story, was saying that Taye knocked our production manager unconscious, even though we saw the same production manager in the video later fighting to prevent Mr. Arimoro from entering his car when she was right there. So we know she lied about that, obviously. But the point is, when they were doing this that so-called review, the three bodies did not invite the principal. Not in Sherwe. Where do they do that kind of thing? That is one of the most unprofessional investigations I've ever seen in my life. For you to do a major investigation and not invite the principals, and then you made a verdict that affected them. As a lawyer, that offended my sense of fair hearing right from the start. But that is not why we are here. So we are going to look at what the guilds decided, because like I said, this is a very serious channel. We're not going to delve too much into the fight itself, which is what many of you really wanted to hear about. I want to talk about what the guilds decided and what we need to do to correct the mess going forward. That is why the topic for today is about review of the Taye Arimoro versus Peggy Ovire's fight and what we need to do to make to fix to clean up the mess. So me, I'm more about the growth part of this for every one of us. What can we learn from here, and what can we do to make Nollywood better from this mess? All right, let's get into it. So what the guilds decided after the show of shame, because that's the only way you can call this, when you have grown-ups, not only were they fighting, they were even biting each other like children. We saw the video where one of them was showing all his body. I think they beat Taye on the body. From what I could see was him. There was bites everywhere. Like the way we used to do in my primary school, you know, when you try to fight somebody in primary school and you cannot fight him, then you use mouth. Or when a man and a woman is fighting, and then the woman knows that the man is stronger, he puts mouth and bites. These are adults. These are people carrying every title like producer, production manager, artist in the second largest movie industry in the world. I'm outraged. I'm outraged about that fight, but I'm even more outraged about what the guilds decided after they chose to go and talk about this among themselves. They did a kangaroo meeting, because that's all I can call it. Like I said, I belong to two of those guilds. And they'll be hearing from me. I'm going to be writing a letter of protest to them that don't embarrass us. They had their meeting to decide what happened, but they didn't call everybody to come and give testimony. And then they came up with a verdict that I thought was pretty disgraceful, to be honest with you, pretty embarrassing for that industry. And we're going to be unpacking all of that tonight. From the media reports, because they published, I'm looking for their report, I want to pull it up on my system. They actually issued a formal report. So this is not guesswork now. And before I went on here, before I went live right now to try to comment on this, I made sure I confirmed that report was not AI generated, that report is not fake. I contacted people who we know in the different guilds to confirm whether you actually use this, and they confirm. So everything I'm saying from the report, at least the factual part, actually happened. So their report, which was signed by AGN, DGN, and AMP, meaning that all three bodies agreed. Here is a summary, because it's going to take too long for me to read it. Taye Arimoro was declared the primary aggressor in the fight. He was suspended indefinitely from all Nollywood productions across Nigeria. Number 3, he was ordered to issue a public apology and to record what is called a corrective video. Apparently, they said he circulated a fake video. I'm going to come to that in my analysis. He's expected to return to set under supervision to complete his sins, despite the fact that they said they suspended him indefinitely. So they suspended him indefinitely, but they're also saying he should come back under supervision to complete his sins. Meanwhile, in that their report, they said the director, the production manager, and crew who fought with Taye, they were declared not culpable in any wrongdoing. And I quote that, not culpable in any wrongdoing is what their report said. Peggy Ovire, the producer answered, was told to write letters of apology and sign undertaking, letters of undertaking, letter of apology and sign undertakings, but effectively they allowed her to walk away with a light slap on the wrist. No slap even. They said she has not done anything wrong. Even though I don't understand why you say somebody's done nothing wrong, but you're asking them to apologize. But I'll come back to that in a minute. But their report said she has done nothing wrong. They allowed her to walk away unscathed, despite being the producer and the ultimate authority on that set. So in a simple language, what our guilds, all of the 3 of them, all 3 of them, they say the man who says he was blocked from leaving, the man who was restrained, and the man who showed injuries, at least we saw all of that on video, regardless of what caused it or where it came from. They gave that one industrial wide ban. The man who was prevented, the man who was restrained, the man who had injury, the man who was beaten. They gave him industry-wide ban. The people who block his exit that we could see on the video, regardless of what all of them are saying, there are some things we know for a fact because we saw it on video. The people who block his exit and those who helped to escalate the chaos, the one who threw the blow from the back and the one who threw the blow from the front, the guild said not culpable because Taye initiated the fight. They just told them to apologize and continue. That's it. That's what the verdict is about. That's the summary. For those of you who have not seen it, please Google it and download it in case you think I'm misrepresenting them. Now, in my opinion, if this is the guild's idea of justice and zero tolerance for violence, then Nollywood has a much deeper crisis than people realize. We are in such a deep shit. If this is what our 3 best guilds, because that's what we got. AMP, Association of Movie Producers, Directors Guild of Nigeria. Those are the best we got. Where else are we going to go? The Actors Guild of Nigeria. Those are the 3. If this is their own idea of justice after meeting together, and this is what they call zero tolerance for violence on set, then Nollywood is sicker than many of us thought. And I say that with a sense of serious responsibility. I'm a practitioner in that industry. This year alone, I've spent close to 60 million on 2 productions. So I'm invested in that industry. But this is a disgrace of a ruling. Why do I say so? Let me first mention some observations. I have about 7 of them. Then I'm going to, of course, because I like to talk about solutions even more than the problem. After I identify all the 7 problems that I have with this, then I'm going to give you what I think should be the solution to this problem so that it doesn't happen again. Here's my observation number 1 about their verdict. Remember, this review is about the verdict of the guilds. I'm not even making my own decision about the fight itself. So my first observation or question for them, how do you have a full-blown fracas, but only one person did wrong, according to your own report? Can one person fight with himself? You cannot have a violent altercation, people bruised and injured, people treated for injuries in the hospital, a viral CCTV and phone videos from everybody that all of us are watching, police interest, and national outrage. and then you write an official report that reads like a one-man fought and everyone else was a harmless extra. What kind of movie were you recording? So Taye was just fighting and fighting and fighting. Everybody else was looking at him. It's disgusting. Even if you accept, for argument's sake, that Taye threw the first punch, fighting is not a solo sport on a crowded set. We watched them. Fighting is not a solo sport on a crowded set. The moments others join in, the moments others start to restrain, to shout, to push, to hit, to drag or inflame, they have also crossed the line of professionalism. Even if somebody slapped you, if you're a professional, you don't just go and be slapping back on a set. And the guilds have a golden opportunity. They had, because it's past now, they had a golden opportunity to declare that from now on, if a fight breaks out on your set, everyone who participates, actor, crew, producer, busters, PM, will face sanctions. That's how you sanitize an industry. Instead, they crafted a script where one actor becomes the scapegoat, maybe because he does. I don't know Taye Arimoro before. I don't know Peggy. I've never met either of them. But from what I can see, they have made the actor the scapegoat, and everyone else gets spiritual immunity. That's not discipline. That's political sacrifice. They sacrifice this man, and people like me cannot stand and be looking. I belong in that industry. In any respectable profession, it don't matter who started the fight. The minute you joined in, you dead. You see the NBA. When somebody throws a punch in the NBA and fight starts, the next Monday, everybody who got involved, including the person that was punched, who punched back, gets suspended. The players who went on the court to join the fight, they get suspended. Everybody, why? Because they are trying to say you cannot do violence in our profession. That's how you do it. Even if you don't know, if you didn't go to school, I know many of us were not trained, and I've been saying that. You've been watching other associations. Zero tolerance means everybody who gets in a fight, but you came up with your own verdict. You said Peggy and her people did no wrong. Only Taye did wrong. Even by their own admission that they fought, because they have jury. Even if you say it's Taye that started the show, Taye might get 2 years if he's the one that started it, but everybody who got involved should get at least 1 year too. Even though Taye is saying he did not even start it, and we didn't see him start it on TV anyway. I'm coming to that. Number 2 observation. Blocking someone from leaving a set is not normal producer power. I've noticed that a lot of producers or a lot of people on the crew side, they seem to be thinking this is okay. I was watching some of the comments some of them are making, and I was just shaking my head. Blocking someone from leaving a set is not normal producer power. You're not a god. You are not a jailer. You are not a governor. It is legally risky. Now, let me wear my legal wig for 2 minutes. At least now I've been a lawyer for 40 years, so I should be able to say something, right? When you physically prevent a grown adult from leaving a location for whatever reason, by blocking his car, crowding him, locking the gate, or saying he cannot go until Madame approves, you are flirting with, number 1, forced imprisonment and unlawful detention. I expect Taye to file a petition with the police and use the video of the production manager, because the man himself said so. You are flirting with forced imprisonment, criminal intimidation, and depending on severity, behavior like that looks like kidnapping style restraint, kidnapping by restraint. It is not until you enter Sambisa forest and go and carry somebody from there that you have done a kidnapping, or until you carry somebody from the street and take them into Sambisa forest. Rather, that's not only the time you do kidnapping, when you prevent them through any means like blocking, locking gates. You cannot go until my madam says so. That is kidnapping style restraint. need a forest camp or blindfold people before the law starts asking questions about kidnapping. Once you restrict someone's liberty against their will, without lawful authority, the law is interested. Whether or not he signed a contract to act in your movie. Next time, if you want to be doing that, you know what you should do if you're a smart human being? Peggy, I'm talking to Peggy now because you are supposed to be the most senior person on that set, so I'm holding you more responsible than everybody else. Because in Nigeria, when they come to the house to steal something, or they go to the store to steal something, it is the mega that will go and lock up. Nobody talks to the store manager. When the store manager should be the first person to be fired. When something is missing in your store, the top man, that's why America works better than our country. They start from the topmost person, even if he has nothing to do with it. It don't matter to me if Peggy was sleeping in her room when all this was going on. She's still the number one responsible person in my books. And that's why I'm going to be very hard on her. If you really want to do what you just did, where if somebody doesn't finish their act, they can go, then put it in your contract that you're going to do this and this and this. And that if you don't do it and you want to leave, we have a right to lock you up or right to close the gate to prevent you from leaving, and you're going to agree. Let him sign that. In other words, he's giving you permission to stop him from leaving the set. There's nothing stopping him from putting in your contract. That's why I'm wondering, because many of you do your movies, you do your stuff without the benefit of having lawyers help you look at it. If actors don't do their job well, like a lot of them don't do in Nigeria, then put it in your contract. Let them consent to the restraint before it happens. I'm sure many of them just want their money. They don't even read the contract. But so put it there in small print that we have 12 sins. Be very clear what they are supposed to do, so that when you are restraining them, you are within your contractual legal right. You agree to shoot 12 sins. If you are trying to leave the scene before the 12 sins are done, then my crew have the right to restrain you and make sure you finish it before you leave. And you hereby agree in advance that they can do that. It's that simple. Some actors will want to contest it before they want to become on your set, but you ask them, is it that you don't want to finish your work? That's why you don't want this clause to be there. So you guys will negotiate it in advance, so they know you are not playing. But from what we even heard that place, that gentleman gave you a lot of opportunity. I'm coming to that. But what I want to say here on this number 2 is that the guild did not advance their mind to that. You can't lawfully restrain somebody, whether he signed a contract or not, unless that clause to be restrained is put inside his contract. Yet the guild's decision, from what we can see, from what they gave out, completely ignores this dimension. There was no word about the unlawful restraint. I read it. In fact, I printed it out. This is it right here. I printed it out so that you know that I'm not just doing a casual stuff. I printed out the judgment of the guild. The guild's decision completely ignores this restraint part. There was no word about the unlawful restraint. There was no warning against blocking exits. Even in their report, at least you will put it there, that you're warning your producers not to block anybody. They should have a different way to enforce their contract. There was no admission that nobody leaves this set. It's not just bad behavior, that it is potentially criminal. They didn't put that in their report. So this silence about this very, very important legal part of the whole thing tells me only one thing, that the people who are leading the key guilds in Nollywood either don't understand legal implication of what happens on set, they are untrained, legal illiterates, and they didn't get lawyers. You don't have to be a lawyer, but when something like this happens, the first person you call is your lawyer. Do these guilds not even have lawyers? Because if a lawyer were to have looked at, was to have been present when they were doing that, their hearing, the lawyer will have pointed that out. That is number one thing, very important. So it's either, in my own opinion, and I'm not trying to abuse any guild, I'm a member of the 2 of them. I know I may even face sanction for this video, but it's either they don't understand the legal implications of what happens, or they understood, but chose to play politics over principle, which is what I suspect the most, because any decent human being will know that it is wrong to restrain somebody physically from leaving a set, regardless of whether he has finished his contract or not. There are more civilized ways. We are not Neanderthals. There are different, more civilized ways for you to enforce your right or your contract. But they chose politics over principle. So if it is ignorance or deliberate choosing politics over principle, either way, it's a dangerous thing to do. That's my comment on that, my observation. Number 3 thing that I observed from that judgment. The only person who was held against his will is the one now being sacrificed on the altar of suspension. And I found that very laughable. From the public record, again, we don't know, and I'm making this comment because this is not even yet in court, so we're all free to talk. But from the public record that we can see, I'm talking about the CCTV, about 4 videos that came out from there that we all watch. Taye says he wants to leave around 11 p.m. We saw that in the video when he was discussing with them. The production team all gathered around him that we also saw in the video. They blocked his exit with vehicles. In fact, we are shown the vehicles in the video. We could see the vehicles blocking him. Voices on the video we watched confirmed that he was told he could not leave without the producer's permission. In fact, the program manager, the production manager, who also showed that he was not trained in a conflict resolution. He doesn't even know anything about the legal issues that may come to him on a set, which is why I kept insisting that everybody needs to be trained, including me in their guild. Everybody in your guilds needs to be trained. You can't be a production manager and not know the legal implications of some stuff on your set. You should have been taught. The man didn't know better. He went on video. And that was so tragic because he's going to go to jail if Taye decides to pursue this. And definitely he's going to pay damages if Taye's lawyers decide to sue. He himself confirmed that he told him that he could not leave without the producer's permission, and that he stopped him from leaving because he told him to go see his manager, or sorry, his producer, who was still in a room. According to the mouth of the production manager, forget Taye now. You can say whatever Taye is saying, he has an interest. And obviously, I don't expect Taye to roger Morai. Nobody will roger like that and come and be confessing his own guilt. Taye was even smart. When Taye did his own video, you saw that even when he got to the place where the fight started, he never said he hit anybody. I was just laughing. I watched it. That's obviously a guy who has either talked to a lawyer or is a smart guy. He never admitted on video that he beat anybody, even though we don't know how the other guys could have shed blood if he didn't hit them. He came close, but you notice that if you watch him, he said somebody hit him from the back, and then he did not say, "Oh, I went," and then I started to hit him. That's how you talk. But this progression manager was so stupid, so ignorant, that he went on video and was admitting, thinking that it's making sense. To his own sense, it's making sense. This guy is stupid now. How does he want to leave my set without going to go see my producer? Because your producer is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords for an adult. There are different ways for you to hold Taye responsible if you breach his contract. If you knew what you were doing, you obviously do not. And that is the bane of Nollywood. A lot of what I call location touts now got promoted. Somebody's around location all the time, helping to serve rice, helping to run around and to just be around the place. Then one day somebody says, "Yeah, carry camera." He has become DOP here. Or, okay, yeah, they notice that the person is very efficient in going to go buy rice from Mr. Biggs. So now they want him to be production manager. That is how many of them got their promotion. So they were not educated. They are basically production illiterates. They may have a degree. They may be very smart in other things. I'm not trying to say they are dumb. They may even be a lawyer, but a lawyer does not make you a production manager. There's stuff that you need to understand about how to manage production. We saw that. We also saw Taye showing us injuries. We saw somebody, I think it was Taye or maybe it was the production manager, who had bites all over their body. And here the girl is telling, the guild is telling me that the same Taye that we saw on video, who was pleading with them like a gentleman, we watched him by his car. That doesn't sound like a man that just wants to fight. The people admitted to blocking his exit. The production manager admitted that they blocked him from leaving. Taye showed injury from the assault he claimed was on him. Yet the guilt solution is to ban him from working indefinitely and then clear the people who blocked him. And then they gave the producer a mild, please say you are sorry assignment. Even if you believe Taye overreacted, which is what I'm repeating, you don't fix justice by punishing only the trap person and protecting those who created the trap. This looks less like justice and more like protecting power and connections in Nollywood. I can call it because I don't need anything from Nollywood. If anything, Nollywood needs stuff from me. I'm the one bringing money. I'm bringing my money to Nollywood. So if you say don't come and produce in Nollywood, I don't give a damn. I'll go produce elsewhere and gather people to produce for me. But so I have to call it. This looks like justice, less like justice, but more like protecting the connected and the powerful. You cannot sacrifice Taye over this. That is my position here. I don't know anybody from Adam. I've not spoken to either of them, but I'm looking at what I watched, what I saw. My observation number 4. How can someone be not culpable and then still be asked to apologize? This is the part that cracks me up about about this whole saga. This is where the Gills report start reading like bad comedy. On one hand, they declare the director, the PM, and others not culpable for any wrongdoing. On the other hand, they ask Peggy to apologize, to write apology letters, to apologize to state management, estate management, and stakeholders, to sign undertaking for bad behavior in future. Pick a struggle. If she did nothing wrong, why should she be apologizing? My guilt people. If she needs to apologize and sign undertaking, as you said in your report, then obviously something went very wrong under our watch. That means you agree something went wrong. Because after all, you don't order innocent people to apologize. This contradiction is a classic sign that the Gills are too timid or too compromised to simply say to Peggy, Peggy, you screwed up. You mishandled this, and there are consequences, and to give her her own consequences. Even if it's 6 months suspension, it still won't be enough. If Taye is getting indefinite, she also should be getting indefinite at 1 year minimum. But they are too timid or too entangled with her because they're trying to protect each other. But what blew my mind is that the Actors Guild agreed with this verdict. Shame on you, Actors Guild of Nigeria. Taye is your actor, not Peggy, not anybody else. The person you are supposed to be protecting is your actor. But you went and joined in a travesty of justice that threw your own member under the bus. Why should anybody pay you dues if you can't even protect them in time of trouble? I'm pretty sure you didn't even take them to hospital and pay them and pay his medical bill, which is what a reasonable guild that is self-respecting will do. You take your member, regardless of whether Taye is guilty or not, you take him to the hospital, you take care of him first, and you fight for him. But you went and signed a report that threw your own member under the bus without highlighting the fault of the other person. Let's even say you agree honestly that Taye was wrong. But Taye is a member of your guild. Why are you not pushing for what Peggy did wrong? Unless they just put the name of Actors Guild in their report without Actors Guild being aware of it, but it was signed by all of you people. We have copies of it. I thought that was disgraceful. Or maybe the Actors Guild don't even know what Actors Guild is supposed to do. Your alliance, your allegiance is not to producer, it's not to directors. For Actors Guild, your allegiance is to your actors. You come there bonding on behalf of your member. That's what you do if you know what the heck you are doing. Even if your member is the one that is in the wrong, you are never going to admit that because that's what guilds do. They're going to come there coming for Peggy's head. But now I expect the Actors Guild to actually issue a release banning their actors from showing up on Peggy's set. That's how you behave if you really want to be respected. That for beating up our artists like this, no artist to show up on a set that is being produced by Peggy or that other gentleman that is the production manager. And then let you all get into it. Let guilt meet guilt so that you guys can come up with a compromise. But you went out there and you sold your own member out. I'm talking to the Actors Guild of Nigeria now. You sold your own guy out. And somebody has to call you. And I'm calling you out. I'm not an actor, but if I was, I'll be calling you out. You don't know your job. Your job is to protect Taye, and you didn't protect him, regardless of what happened. That should be your position. And if you want to discipline Taye for fighting on set later, then you discipline him under your own rules. I'm not saying condone your actors fighting on set. I agree you should suspend him. Even now, I will agree you suspend him for fighting on set. He shouldn't put himself in a situation where there is a fight. There must be consequence for that. I'm all for that. But you don't go and join a release where the other side is not found guilty of anything and you're countersigning it with them. Rather. Number 5. This is not my observation here is that this is not an isolated incident. 2025 and 2024 have been violent years for Nollywood on Nollywood sets, and it's getting too much. You guys are embarrassing the whole industry. I'm in the industry, you're embarrassing me. When you start hearing of people fighting on a set and nothing is done by the guilds, there's a shame. Anyone thinking it's just a one stubborn actor versus one entitled producer, you are not paying attention. 2025, 2024 has been a bloody billboard for out of control Nollywood sets, manned by producers who don't know what the heck they are doing and actors who are totally out of control. There are some few examples here. I don't just blow. I blow with facts. In June 2025, we saw the film crew community issuing a statement condemning a popular actor, Femi Branch, for allegedly, let me put allegedly, I wasn't there, for allegedly slapping a first assistant director on set in front of witnesses. I read that one in the Punch. Sure, Femi Branch later apologized, but only after public pressure forced the issue in this 25. Also, we heard of the case of actor Godwin Nadieke, who was allegedly kicked hard in the chest by another colleague, Zubi Michael, during filming. You understand that Zubi Michael wanted to do some ninja thing on the poor guy, even though it was not in the script. At least that's what Godwin claimed. And even the director said they did not direct that. He just wants to show big boy or strong man. Godwin said he suffered serious pain and had to seek medical care on his own. I watched his own video too. So Godwin had to go take medical care on his own because there was no insurance or proper first aid kit on set. Nigerians, hear me again. Godwin Nadieke was hit in the chest very hard or too hard by Zubi Michael to the point that he got injured. But that was not the story, because with their acting, Zubi could have been overzealous and all that. But Godwin had to go take care of himself medically because there was no insurance on the set. They didn't even have first aid set. Talk less of a doctor. How can you be shooting? Nollywood people, you crack me up. You are shooting an action movie and there is no doctor. Forget first aid kit. There should be a proper doctor on that set. Because you know this thing can get out of hand. Somebody could fall, something serious could happen. Not only did you not have a doctor, you didn't have a first aid kit. I don't know who that producer was. He's probably on a set shooting another movie right now. Because there is impunity. And worse, there was no insurance. So if Godwin had died, who would have taken care of his family? Everybody would have been crying. Maybe Zubi don't have enough money. If they sued him, maybe they might get 1 million naira from what I'm hearing. It's not like he's a very rich guy. He's popular, but I don't think he's a billionaire. So if Zubi had died, that's how his family would have suffered. Everybody would have been crying. And then the family wants to sue, and they will say he wants to be wicked, no insurance. You know, remember my first video where I said it should be mandatory that you can't go on set without medical insurance for production crew, for actors, and the set itself, because of things like this. If Zubi Michael had killed that gentleman, what would have happened? How would the producer be able to pay? But we're talking about violence. In this one, we are seeing in October, we saw the case of Anaerobi Wasau, or Anaerobi Courage, or whatever his name was, who was arrested by Lagos State Police after a viral video showed him slapping and grabbing the throat of a female crew member. He was literally choking the girl, the head of their makeup, on the set of, I think the movie was Lagos to Opulence or something. The outcry was so loud, it took the police, not the guilds, to enforce the consequences. You will expect that the very next morning, the guilds will suspend that man indefinitely while they go and investigate what happened. You don't even suspend after you have investigated. By seeing that video alone, I expect the Guild of Actors, the Guild of Directors, Association of Movie Producers to all issue immediate releases suspending that motherfucker. Suspending him for choking. It don't matter what the girl did. Not only did you put your hand on a girl, you are choking somebody. That's a criminal offense on a set. And they didn't say anything. All the guilds who are looking for dues all up and down the place, they didn't do anything. It took police to go and arrest the guy. So this is not ancient history. These are recent documented cases. So when we see what happened on Peggy's set and the guild's response, it's not just random. It fits a pattern. And the pattern is clear. Violence on the set, people get injured, viral outrage, confused or soft responses from the industry leadership, no clear systematic fix. They don't fix the problem after. Now the video got released, they've moved on. I didn't hear anything they're going to do going forward other than to say to follow a set that they are going to develop a uniform set conducting. An industry of 40 years does not even have Jesus Christ. See, this Taye Peggy incident is bigger than two people. It is Nollywood sickness showing on camera. And it's disgusting. If you know me, that's the highest word I can use for when I don't like something. It's disgusting. And somebody needs to pay. The guilds, we're coming for you. Number 6, observation number 6. In my own opinion, and in the opinion of every objective professional observer, the producer is the CEO of the set. You can't pretend she's a passenger. That's the CEO gongon on the set. And that means something. In any serious film industry that wants to be taken serious by anybody in the world, the producer is the ultimate responsible officer on that set. Underline the word responsible. If there's chaos, if there's violence, if people are blocked from leaving the set, if accommodation and security people are mishandled, if the security of the people is mishandled, if accommodation is messed up, the producer cannot behave like an innocent bystander. Reports indicate that Peggy was not only producer, but was also present during parts of the escalation. We saw her in one of the videos getting involved in the altercation, discussing with Taye, everybody surrounding them like a Jankara kind of thing. We saw her. We saw that our team actively participated in trying to stop Taye from leaving. The videos are still on, I think some of them were published on Premium Times even. It's all over Instagram. So even if Peggy Ovire didn't throw a punch, legally she controlled the environment or refused to control the environment, but it's under control. She had the authority to de-escalate. All she needed to do is, oh yeah, crew, leave this madman alone, everybody go back to your base. That would diffuse the thing right there. And leave her with Taye. That's what somebody who's responsible will have done when you see that this is about to get out of hand. Not that you'll be encouraging your cast and crew, your driver, to be engaging in punching, or your production manager, or all those people there. She had the authority to de-escalate, and she did not exercise it. She actually benefited from her crew's willingness to hold an actor against his will. That's what happened. So in any functional system, that alone should attract serious sanctions, regardless of what Taye did. Because everybody keeps looking at it from the context of what Taye allegedly did. I'm saying, let me even agree with you that Taye punched, Taye did all of that. You behave in a very disgusting manner for a producer. And now the guild is saying, oh, you did no wrong. Just write a letter and be guided. And this is where the guild really screwed up badly. By failing to hold the producer primarily accountable, the guilds wasted a generational opportunity to reset the damage and to make a declaration to the whole industry that if you run a set and violence or unlawful detention happens under your watch, you will be the first to answer. That is the message they should have sent, regardless of what they will do with Taye later. And they missed that opportunity. I'm talking about the Association of Movie Producers, AGN, DGN, whatever end they call themselves. They fumbled big time because you saw the violence. You don't have to decide who was responsible for it or not before you come down the producer, because that is number one man. That's what we are. That's the problem with Nigeria. We don't want to hold our topmost people responsible. You say, oh, the president should go and make sure they solve the problem of violence. They are telling you the president did not start it. The president he has a minister of defense. It was Obasanjo that started it. That's why our country is run down. We don't hold the ultimate person responsible. But I'll call you. I'll hold you responsible. You're the producer on the set. It's not just in mouth. That's why everybody defers to you. That's why everybody runs around when you shout. That's why when you say, yeah, everybody come here, they come. You are the authority. And yourself was going to shit. All you are doing is also participating. On behalf of those of us who are embarrassed by what we saw, Peggy Ovire says, shame on you. Yeah, you can come for me. You know I don't care. He has to be called. I don't know you. I'm sure I will meet you someday. We may laugh over it. But right now, I'm very upset about all of this on behalf of a lot of industry watchers. My observation number 7. And this is the part that blew me away also a lot. I'm talking institutionally now. How does a 40 or almost 40-year-old industry not have a proper on-set conduct and safety code? Because I'm reading this report and I'm like, oh my shit, Jesus Christ. One of the most embarrassing parts of this whole saga is that in response to the crisis, some good statements started talking about working towards a unified on-set conduct and safety code. They actually put it in their report, and I quote, we are working towards a unified on-set conduct and safety code, meaning they don't have one. Because if you already have it, you're not going to say you're working towards a unified one. And this is 2025. Living in Bondage came out in 1992. Even that's where we're going to say Nollywood started, because that is the typical startup point that most people like to reference. Living in Bondage came out in 1992. This is 2025. That is 33 years ago. At here, but Alaba people that they didn't go to school much. They don't know about all this work. But they were even mostly executive producers. They were not even the one acting. Association of Movie Producers, Directors Guild of Nigeria, Actors Guild of Nigeria. All you guys like to fight about is going to be president because of all the privileges you get. You don't think proactive. You don't think about what will take the industry to the next level. Because how will you not have a safety code, on-site safety code? That should be at least one of maybe 20 different codes that you have. Actors code. An actor cannot just jump and leave a set. As all things considered, in this case, we had that man explain what happened, and it made sense. Why will even be asking someone to come and be shooting after 12 midnight anyway? If it's not that you are not educated, if it's not that you don't care about security, if it's not that you started shooting from 10 a.m. by 12 midnight, even if the man is not going anywhere, you still expect him to be shooting at 12 midnight because there is no conduct code. Think about it. Nollywood has been around in one form or the other for decades, at least since 1992. We've done thousands of films. As a matter of fact, we have done thousands. We don't know the number. Everybody just produce anyhow. But generally, it is agreed now we do about 2,500 movies a year. In fact, that's what my book even says. One country, 2,500 movies a year. Yet, we still don't have a widely enforced, widely written, and unified safety and conduct code for movie sets. Where is even all the government organizations that are supposed to be supervising you guys? Seriously? They didn't demand it? You guys didn't demand it of yourself? We don't have a widely enforced, unified safety and conduct code. I thought maybe I didn't read well. They said they are working towards it. So if you already have it, don't blame me for assuming. That's what to put in your, assuming you don't have, because that's what you put in your letter that you yourself made available to the public, that you are now working towards a unified on-set conduct and safety code. So what have you been doing all these years? All of you, all the guilds, especially the one of movie producers and the Directors Guild. What have you been doing? Decades. Yet we still don't have a widely, I'm going to repeat it like 4 times so that you can hear me. Is it that you don't want to pay lawyer to help you draft one? You pay me a little money, I'll have one ready for you by next week. Or go get a charge and bail lawyer on the street. Get anybody. Or I'm even doing it for you for free. If you contact me, I'll write you one. It's not complicated. There are plenty of samples all over the world. A lawyer can put together a great one for you. You should have a lawyer for your guild. If you don't have one, then you need to go retain a lawyer. I will even volunteer some law firms for you in Nigeria. This is ridiculous. I'm so embarrassed. I will offer to write one for you for free. Just send me a letter. I won't charge. Why can we not have that? So what have we been doing all these years? Besides sharing positions, lobbying for government money and fighting over who's going to be president of what guild. Everybody is waiting for Nollywood's $200 million intervention fund. That's all we do. And you are announcing it in that letter as if it's some kind of proud new initiative. This is not something you proudly announce as a new initiative. This is something you apologize for and fix very fast. So that your letter should have said you apologize to Taye, you apologize to Peggy, you apologize to the whole industry that you don't have a unified code of conduct, on-set code of conduct and safety code yet, but you are going to make sure it happens fast. You just have a new leader, Mr. Uche Agbo. What the heck? These things are gaslighting. And you all can take it any way you want. This is Nollywood Fanatics TV. On this place, we analyze. I don't take sides. When I get up my show, and then we're in our groups, and where we can then be talking as whatever. But on Nollywood Fanatics show, we are not here to play with you. Our job is to make sure that this industry goes to the next level. Right now, you guys are killing this industry. And I'm angry. So what is the way forward? Is one thing for me to make all this noise. But from this incident, just focusing on the guilt alone, because right now, today, is a review. Remember, I'm doing a review of the guild's shameful verdict and how to clean up the mess. Following from that, here are 7 urgent reforms that I think the Nollywood guilds need to consider. I'm not a Mr. Know-it-all. I just think about problems when it happens, and I'm making my own suggestions. You don't have to adopt them, but you need to have a meeting on how to improve your operations following this Taye versus Peggy's case. Every bad incident, we should use it to take our industry to the next level. Because before I know it, they will say, who is he? To be able to, who is me? I am me. I've invested in your industry. I've lost money in your industry. So I have a right to make suggestions, but you don't have to take it. But you come up with your own so that you don't put yourself in the embarrassing situation or be saying we are working towards a unified on-site safety and conduct code. Did you guys even read your own report before you published it? That line there is an indictment on your 3 organizations, that you don't have one yet. A unified on-site code and conduct should have been one of the #1 things that you guys will have, because you're all working together. The producers, the actors, the directors. So you need a unified code for sure. And that's what you should have had a long time ago. But you're too busy fighting for position. So here are 7 ways I think we can reform our guilds. I hope you like some of them. If you don't like it, come up with your own, just make it better. #1, I think all our guilds should publish a clear Nollywood on-set code and conduct document within 60 days. I'm on here now, I volunteer so that you don't come and talk story later. You want me to help you write it? Contact me. And on this one, I won't even charge. I will draw you one. Of course, I'm not a charity organization. Anything else you want me to do, that you're going to have to pay me or go get your own lawyer. But this one I'll draft for you, so that you know that I'm committed to the success of the industry. I'm not just a talker. How can you not have one? How can you not have one? Your on-set conduct and safety code should define zero tolerance for physical violence, threats, weapon use, mob action. It should spell out red lines. Red lines like no blocking of exits, no locking people in, no physical restraint except genuine self-defense. Or tell them to put it in their contract and let the actors be able to sign that I'm consenting to be restrained if I want to leave, if I have not finished. If they agree for it to be in the contract, then you put it there. If they don't agree, then you know you cannot touch them. This your code of conduct should include incident reporting procedures and timelines. See, I'm even giving you the table of contents. It should include incident reporting procedures and timelines, who to call, how to document incidents, how investigations will be run. And this document should be made publicly available with all those stuff in there, so that both everybody practicing in the industry and even those who are engaging with the industry, they can know what to expect, because you have extras all the time. So that code of conduct book is something everybody should get. You print it out and make sure it is part of the welcome package. That is what joining a guild is. That's why you charge money for people to join. And if the money you are charging is not enough, charge a little bit more. There are some things they should get as part of their welcome thing, or make sure they buy as they join. Part of what we make their membership solid, that they have to buy this, or make it available in digital for free. If you don't want to make money with it, I suggest you can make some money with it, but it should be available. That is the first recommendation I think should come out of this. Take it or leave it. My second recommendation is to outlaw any form of unlawful detention on set, with automatic sanctions for anybody who violates that. That is my recommendation #2. outlaw any form of unlawful detention on the set with automatic sanctions kicking in for violations. You should explicitly ban blocking an actor's car, locking people's inside locations, physically stopping cast and crew from leaving. First offense for any producer, PM, or director should be automatic suspension for 3 or 6 months, a fine, and mandatory retraining. Because they don't have trainings while they're doing this shit. Mandatory retraining. A second offense, temporary blacklisting from all guild-sanctioned productions. That's the way I would do it if I'm helping to write this stuff. Contracts are not prison sentences. You have to get that. Unless somebody consented to be put in prison in the contract. Of course, you can sue people for breach of their obligations, but you can't hold them hostage. This is not 1940 or 1960. This is 2025. You can't hold somebody hostage for a term in his contract, but you can sue him, you can report him to the guild, you can suspend him, the guild can fine him. There are so many things you can do if the guild knows what they are doing. All of that should be in your guidelines. Where, for instance, if an artist is reported to not finish the number of hours he agreed or number of scenes and he leaves the set, here is the fine. You can even predetermine the fine. The fine will be ₦500,000 plus 3 months suspension, whatever. Let everybody know the consequences and that they will be fined, whatever. That shouldn't be difficult. That is how you sanitize an industry. I will look forward to our guilds implementing some of this stuff. Number 3, there should be mandatory conflict and legal training for producers, directors, PMs, and literally every head of department. If not even everybody is going to be participating in Nollywood. For some, it should even be compulsory. That's why I call it mandatory conflict and legal training for producers, directors, PMs at the very minimum. So that there is no more accidental warlords on sets. Introduce compulsory short courses on conflict de-escalation, labor and contract basics, criminal implications of assault, self-imprisonment and intimidation, proper incident documentation. And you make this completion of this training a precondition before they can produce guild-recognized films. You should actually have a way where there's some films have to be signed off by the guild so that it has your logo there because it gives you credibility. It should be a precondition to serving as PM or line producer on major sets. So that, and this is where you also lobby for the government to make this in a law. They have to go through this training before, just like a lawyer must go through training before I start showing up in court, or an engineer must go through training before I start designing building, or an architect must go through some training before he can sign as an architect. Your producers, directors, and PMs, they must attend this training. This is where you even help the industry to go and make money in the process because you create these courses and you run them. I can help you define the curriculum. I can even write the courses for you and teach it the first time. It's not hard. And then maybe you save the recording videos and then they have to buy and they have to watch and they have to take an exam. Even if you don't want to make it a physical class that they have to be spending 6 weeks all the time, I would recommend that. But if that is not practical, then make it an online thing. But in a way where you can confirm that they actually watched those things and did the test. If you control 30 people to 100 people on set, you must be trained. Not just famous. I don't care how famous you are as a producer. You need to be trained. Right now, what is going around, again, with all due respect to my I'm not going to say it's my friend, but it's my president, Uche Agbo. I'm hearing when last meeting was saying everybody need to what was that word he used? Re-verify or re-authenticate for you to come and re-authenticate yourself as a director. Now that you're going to pay some little money, it's not a lot of money for them to reconfirm you. So why are you doing reconfirmation without retraining? Is it reconfirmation that is important or retraining? That is the opportunity, sir. No, I say what I have to say to the industry on my show. Because if I try to talk to you privately now, it might be a problem. This is my show now. I can say whatever I want. You can decide to take it or not. And if you want to meet me after, or we can then talk and have this. This, your recertification you're talking about, is your great opportunity to have ensured some things are put in place. But I don't see that, with all due respect to you, sir. We need to train our people. If that's all you're going to do in your tenure, then you'll be serving generations of some critical training that must be taken. There should be like 3 or 4 of them in my own head that they all have to take. And you run live class, you should run it live class so that there can be interaction. And then you record it and also have an online version that somebody can do with PowerPoint, complete with tests for every lesson, so that people are forced to watch so that they can take the test and then they get a certification. So if you have 4 certificates, they must take. So that will be a level to rate your producers. If they take all 4 lectures and they've done so many movies, then they go into the A list or something. You even use that to classify people, so that people like me who are looking to get producers to produce for us, we go through that and then we pick the best that suits our budget. Because there's a way producer will get in trouble, like this one that Peggy has done. If she had an executive producer who paid for that thing, when Wahala comes and judgments come, he can go and hit the executive producer because he commissioned the project. So the executive producer has liability. If you guys understand law, Peggy would then be an agent for the executive producer. So if I see that Peggy doesn't have money, let's say I'm representing Taye Arimoro now. I know plenty charges I'm going to sue Peggy for. But Peggy doesn't have money to pay me 100 million, 200 million, because I won't do any case that is less than that. I live in America. 100 million is less than 50,000. So if she doesn't have money, then I'm going to go after the executive producer who probably has a lot of money. Maybe it's an American or who has dollars. So everybody needs to be protected. You need to be trained. Producers, directors, PMs, non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. And because I'm a reformer, what I'm going to do is, following this, my broadcast, I'm going to write a formal letter to the 2 guilds that I belong to. I don't joke about this stuff. I'm going to write them a formal letter as Nollywood fanatics, as a member of the guild, and demand that we do this stuff. I will start the Wahala from there. The one they can do, we will do. The one they can do, and I will offer to also help. This is not just me saying go and do that. The one I can help them for free, I will. I just volunteer. I can write their documents for them. What will it cost me? I just get one of my lawyers and say, okay, you are working with the guild this month. Let's get them all this documentation. I'm assuming they are cooperative people. It's something we can do for them without even charging them any money. Because I believe in this industry. I'll be more than willing to volunteer. We need to move beyond these people. Number 4, recommendation. We need to create independent incident panels with external members. See, these are recommendations coming from this fight, not just the only reviewing the whole industry, just the recommendations that I think comes out from this Peggy and Taye fight. So number 4 recommendation from my side: create independent incident panels with external members. When violence happens, don't let only insiders investigate insiders. That's what we have seen. For any serious on-set incident, we must include at least one independent legal professional. If they included a legal professional in their team, they will not issue that kind of report that is embarrassing to everybody, where they didn't deal with the legal issues that arose. It should include one legal professional. It should include one health and safety expert, so that they can make informed education for everybody on that panel for what they don't know, and make recommendation what to do from there. It should also include one neutral member, not directly from AGN, DGN, or AMP. I'm talking about the leadership. One not included, anybody directly in the AGN, DGN, and AMP leadership. At least one neutral member, maybe regular member of the organization, one health expert, one legal professional. And then they can then include the other committee that is normal in the guilds. And then we publish summary findings and reasoning, not just the verdicts. Here's the summary findings. Here are the verdicts, and here are the summary findings leading us to make that verdict. Smell of a guild family meeting, which is what I suspect this was, and increased trust in the guilds. Because if you have some independent, I just mentioned 3 of them, that can be part of your committee that is doing this, by the time your finding comes out, then it's something that we can trust. You can even avoid people going to court, because now Taye will have to go to court. Peggy is also talking court. So the next thing you know, you're having so many courts, everybody's distracted. But the guild has done a good job. A Taye may not feel the need to go to court. Peggy may not feel the need to go to court. Everybody will just take their message, like men and whatever, and they go. Most stuff that happens in NBA here, they don't go to court because they have a great conflict resolution committee. So when they give you your fine, you know you have also signed to accept whatever fine before you became a member. Whatever fine the guild gives you, you're going to pay. So then everybody will have moved on with life. Yeah, they'll pay some price. Maybe a Taye is suspended 3 months, Peggy is suspended 6 months. Everybody is fine, up and down. Everybody has to collect. Nobody should go free in that fight. Not even Taye. Everybody must collect something. But you didn't do that. Now we're going to be going with years of legal fight while Taye's career is being stalled by you guys. That's so unfair. Number 5 recommendation, before I start wrapping this up. We need to adopt a balanced sanctions policy. Everyone involved in violence must face consequences. That's how it's done. Oh my God. You do like you don't watch TV, even if you are not thinking. Don't you watch TV? You need to adopt a balanced sanctions policy where everyone involved in violence must face the consequences. There is no more one scapegoat, everyone else is innocent, like you guys did. They had a big fight, people got injured, ended up in hospital. You are saying one side initiated it, so it's all guilty. Everybody else that was involved, including the one that beat somebody, is not guilty of anything. If you throw a punch, if you join a brawl, if you fail to de-escalate as a responsible officer on set, you face graded sanctions. It should be listed out in advance. Whether you started it or not, if you throw a punch, you are going down for 3 months plus 50,000 naira fine. If you are involved in the brawl and you are caught on video or anywhere as being actually throwing whatever, you get this money plus this fine. And if you are the producer on that set and refuse to de-escalate, this is what you get. Producers and directors should bear the highest responsibility, not immunity that you are giving Peggy. That sends a very, very bad signal to the world. They should bear a higher responsibility when there's a fracas, whether they initiated it or not, whatever they are. It's like the president of a company being there when they are fighting and throwing whatever in his company, and staff is fighting. And then he's expecting the board to just sanction those who are fighting and let her go. If I own that company, you will be fired first or suspended if you are lucky, before I even talk about the staff. It's different if you are not there. Even if you are not there, I want to know who did you put in charge to make sure that your company doesn't go to hell while you are gone. I will still find something to hold you responsible. Actors must also know that losing your temper has consequences. I'm not excusing Taye here, but it must be proportionate and consistent. Even though, like I said, in any of the videos I've seen, I've not seen Taye fighting there, so I'm not going to say he fought. But even if he fought, assuming he fought, he cannot be excused. No matter the provocation, you can't lose your temper. I heard him say he was trying very hard to not lose his temper. Well, yes, continue to do that. And if you get involved in a fight, then you must go down too. But it must be proportionate and consistent. I will not suspend the Taye more than I will suspend the producer on set. That's not proportional. That's not consistent. He's an actor. And I'm listening to what he has to say, that it's already 12 midnight and he has to go. He has a lot of ameliorative stuff speaking for him, so his punishment will be very little. So that the message is clear. If violence breaks out on your set, every participant, everybody, including leadership, will be held accountable, whether you are the one that started it or not. Saying that Taye started it and leaving it there shows the irresponsibility of the guilt in their decision. The fact that somebody started a fight does not now mean that people should start biting him on the body and to start to behave like Jankara people on a set that is professional. The guilt, you didn't think this through. And that's a shame. My number 6 recommendation. There should be standard contracts and basic welfare rules for every professional. From what we are hearing on this set, there are not even contracts. You should have standard contracts. That's my number 6 recommendation. Standard contracts and basic welfare rules for every professional on that set. From the actor to the cleaner to the cameraman, it don't matter. Chaos thrives where nothing is written. We need to develop standard contract templates for actors, which is separate from the crew, for technical roles. We need to create minimum welfare and safety standards under this recommendation. Working hours and rest periods must be clear. How can somebody get to set at 10 a.m.? It's 12 midnight. You are still expecting them to keep shooting, even if it's not going anywhere. Does that even sound reasonable? It's because they want to shoot a movie in 3 days and move to the next one. That is part of the problem we are talking about. They want to shoot a whole movie in 3 days and then jump to the next set, so they don't care about the actors. And then they will complain that the actors don't care about them. The actors too, they say, okay, we're going to be on this set 3 days. They've accepted to be on another set tomorrow morning, which is what happened with Taye. They don't give themselves rest time. How can you be an actor? You're on this set for 3 days or 5 days, and you are done at midnight. You don't even give yourself 1 day of rest. You want to resume on another set 10 a.m. tomorrow, which is part of what caused this problem. You are tired. You just finished. You don't even have time to read the script. This Nollywood is just a mess. It's a mess. So we should have minimum welfare and safety standards that includes working hours, rest periods. For every 2 hours of shooting, maybe there should be 1 hour of rest. For every 3 hours of shooting, maybe there should be 1 hour of rest. I don't know. You guys know what is reasonable. You need to sit down and put that on paper. There should be accommodation rules. There should be basic medical and first aid requirements in the contract. When people know their rights and obligations in writing, there's less room for emotional blackmail and all these midnight shutdowns of gates. Although Taye was saying that he agreed to work from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something like that. But it looked like it was verbal. They didn't have anything writing. But if you have everything written down, you are supposed to shoot 20 scenes. And nobody goes, because we can't leave a movie half finished. Nobody goes until we have finished this. If we don't finish it in this day, then we're going to take an extra day. All of that is written into the contract. That should be a rule that I'm going to be pushing for AMP, DGN. I'm not in the Actors Guild, so I don't know if I'm going to engage those. But Directors Guild and the Movie Producers Guild, these are things I'm going to be writing them letters for. We need to implement. Finally, number 7 recommendation from this, my number 7 recommendation from this Taye and Peggy WW fight is that we should launch a Nollywood set and safety ethics hotline. Let's not leave it to chance. Silence is a friend of abuse. Somebody used to say that. So we need to set up an anonymous hotline, email or web form, and those are very easy to do. It doesn't even cost the guilds any money. It can be a WhatsApp number. It can be an email. It can be a Google Doc that doesn't cost you a dime to create. But the links will be out there on your site where people can go, where actors, extras, crew, even estate managers and neighbors can report violence, intimidation, unsafe conditions, sexual harassment, illegal detention on a set, so that we get the witnesses firsthand, and we protect whistleblowers from being blacklisted and from revenge casting. If guilds claim to protect practitioners, as they say, they must also protect the weakest ones, the weakest voices, not just the stars and the producers. If they can treat Taye like that, do you know the kind of abuse the extras must be taking on that set? The crew. So we need an anonymous hotline, email, or web form that where actors, crew, estate managers, extras can go and report. Immediately it's happening. Thank God for videos now, we get that. But we are not getting the formal report with people putting their name and phone number to see what happened. There they can report violence, intimidation, unsafe condition, sexual harassment, illegal detention. So that even if fight does not break out, but there is intimidation happening on your set, there should be a hotline where people can go and report under anonymity, where they can feel, they can reference, and then the guilds can begin to investigate. That is something that the guilds should put in place, so that everybody is protected, not just the stars. The little ones on set. Yeah, things happen on set. People do what they got to do, but it should be voluntary. People should not be sexually harassed. There should be no unsafe conditions. I know there are other people who say, what do you mean? You can't control people having sex. They can have sex whoever they want, but it's their choice. But if you're not trying to force them, if you're trying to intimidate them, they should be able to report it. Unsafe conditions, intimidation, violence, all of that needs to be reported. You can't call yourself a guild and you're not protecting your members. AMP, DGN, that's what being a guild is. What we have now, we are not respecting ourselves, with all due respect. My recommendations, you can take it or leave it. But I definitely will be pushing for some of it to be implemented, because I belong to DGN and the AMP now. I just joined them less than 2-3 months ago. I've not had any impact. I've never attended one meeting. But this one is going to make them hear from me, because I'll be sending petition to my president of the DGN. I'm going to be sending petition to AMP, and I want this thing to be dealt with. That their report is not acceptable. They need to do better, and we need to implement some of this stuff. So here is my own final independent observer here as the mayor of Fadeyi, who has been speaking to you. They say, which is mayor now? The mayor is about to talk. Here is my own final recommendation, people. Okay, here is my final verdict. Rather, I've already given you my recommendation. Here is my final thought on this whole matter. This Taye Arimoro versus Peggy Ovire saga is not just about one actor and one producer. Honestly, it's a mirror in which Nollywood is being forced to look at itself. Violent sets, untrained leadership, weak or biased disciplinary structures, an industry trying to play in the global streaming leagues. You are trying to play on the big leagues, while still running some productions like we are talking about lawless motor parks. That's what this was. Because that thing that we all watch on video is not better than lawless motor parks. Some motor parks are more organized. But when you start fighting motor park, the leader of that motor park comes in there and puts order, unless it's the one that is directly instigating, which case is responsible for what happened, which is what your set is. This joint guild decision by the Actors Guild of Nigeria, Directors Guild of Nigeria, and Association of Movie Producers of Nigeria, as they publish it, does not inspire confidence. It feels like power protecting power, in my own view, not justice protecting practitioners. But it's not too late. If AGN, DGN, and AMP want to be remembered, at least the leaders now, as the leaders who finally dragged Nollywood out of chaos, they must treat this scandal as a reset button, not a file to be closed and forgotten. Suspend Taye indefinitely. I hope that it will go away. Because if we cannot guarantee safety, dignity, and basic human rights on our sets, then all the cameras, all the premieres, and all the global deals are just lipstick on a deeply bruised industry. And no amount of makeup can hide the kind of bruises Nigeria has now watched, live and in high definition too. We all need to do better, and it starts right now. And that's all I got. Please put your comments in the chats. Let me know what you think. Let's have a conversation. Do you agree with my verdict? If not, I want to hear from you. I've made 7 recommendations. Which one of them do you like? Put the numbers for me. I like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, whatever. I need to hear back from you. As you watch this with me right now live, please put in your comments so that we can respond to you. In the meantime, I want to encourage you to get my latest book. Yes, I do have a book out already. There are 3 more being published as we speak. Here is this first one now that I hope will be able to change the industry. It's called One Country, 2,500 Movies a Year. Confronting the problems with Nigeria's movie industry, who is responsible, and how to fix it before it is too late. I didn't even know that these Ovire people will start and give me opportunity to start talking about my book. I was planning to launch the book in December. Now we're in December. The book is officially live, and you can get it right now at opebanwo.com/2500movies. opebanwo.com/2500movies. You can get this book. I really broke it down, and let me just read you the back of it. It says, Nigeria makes 2,500 movies a year, but how many of them make sense? How many of them make money? Or how many of them make history? In this explosive book, Dr. Ope Banwo, the mayor of Fadeyi, exposes the corruption, the chaos, and the creative tyranny that is holding us Nollywood hostage. He calls names, he shows receipts, and he offers real-world solutions. Seriously? I did. I named names, just like I did on this broadcast tonight. I showed the receipt. Thank God for AI. I wrote it with assistance of AI. You know why? Because you can research better now. I don't have to go into the field for 2 weeks to know who did what on what set last year. I can get that today. Very well receipted. So when I mention your name, I know you can't go to no court. Why? Because everything I said is public record. They can find the one that is not public record. I put the reference there. Go get the book. It will bless your life. It's my own thoughts on what is wrong with Nollywood and how we can fix it before it is too late. So I'm not just a critic. I'm here as a reformer. The mayor of Fadeyi is not just, I'm not just here for gossip. You can see I don't do gossip. That is beneath me. I will talk about what happened, and then I'm going to talk about the solutions to it. And it starts with this book. One Country, 250 movies a year. Go check it out. And of course, in the next couple of weeks, my 2 groundbreaking books on YouTube monetization is going to be out. I went and did deep research from what is working, what is not working, from those who are making money, what they are doing. I'm not a YouTube expert myself yet. I'm a very honest person. But I want to do the research to help you be able to make a lot of money from your YouTube doing what people who are making money are doing. It's called the YouTube Monetization Playbook. Amazing book, very thorough, very well researched with live case studies. That all it then takes is that, do you have what it takes to go execute? Some of us are thinkers, some of us are executors. Because some people say, hey, how many movies has he made that he wants to talk about how to monetize movies? You retarded. If you are thinking that. Albert Einstein did not go to any laboratory to create the atomic bomb. He thought out the atomic bomb. He wrote down the formula. Then Oppenheimer, who goes to the lab, and his team, they are the one that went to the laboratory and produced the atom bomb. So don't say you can't talk about how to produce atom bomb unless you have created one. Albert Einstein never created one. He never went into any laboratory. He sits under his tree and he thinks. And he puts down his thoughts that change generation. Some of us are thinkers, some of us are doers, and all complement each other. One is not better than the other. It's different talents that God has given us. I happen to be given the talent to be a thinker, a researcher, and that is what I want to bless the industry with. Go check out this first one and tell me whether it met your expectation or not. And when the rest come out, I'll talk about it on the chat for you. Now, if you are watching this live with me, you should be on Nollywood Fanatics TV. But if you're not there right now and you're watching this, you want to go to that channel and you want to check out my other amazing videos there. If I right after this, the next one that is playing is the villains. That one you're going to love. It's villains, victims, and how Nollywood is going to reset itself. That's totally different. That is looking straight up at what is happening in Nollywood beyond the fights and all that, and how we can a holistic look at how we can reform Nollywood, how we can make it better. Please make sure you check it out right after this on this same channel, Nollywood Fanatics TV. It's an amazing channel that I've just created to be a blessing to the industry. So as we close from here, you want to go straight out to the next video where I give you another amazing analysis. I will see you in the next video.